How do you tell if someone is attracted to you or just being very friendly? There's no good answer to that question. A million different people may give a million different signals, hints, signs that they are or are not interested in you romantically. What I found works for me, and what I think is the kindest, least awkward way, both towards yourself and the other person, is to 1. Have some sort of consistently positive relationship, repeated interaction with them first, and then 2. In a light-hearted and friendly way, and without implying any kind of emotional pressure, just ask if they'd like to go on a date with you. Use the word date. If they say yes, congrats. They're into you at least enough to give it a shot and see where it goes. If they say no, for the love of all that is holy, don't take it as a personal insult. It probably isn't. Keep it lighthearted and take the refusal with grace. They aren't into you, and throwing a tantrum over it or trying to pressure them further isn't going to help them be into you whatsoever. Usually the realization comes 10 years later when you are trying to fall asleep. My cousin once told me, "Hey, remember my friend? She was pretty cute, by the way. Yeah, she had a crush on you a few years back. Why the didn't you tell me then?" Depends on where you live. Here in England, being anything other than cold and aloof is seen as basically throwing yourself at someone. Canadian who met some English guys, they all said I was insanely keen, and I didn't know what that meant. Learned later they thought my normal friendliness was obsessive flirtation. Lol. Yeah, sounds about right. Do they ever initiate the friendliness? Responding to someone else's kindness is a lot different than initiating it, but even still, the only sure way to know is to ask. There is a girl that I work with that has asked me to go spend the weekend with her in NYC, so I would assume that she's flirting, interested in me. I mean, she's kind of flirty with everyone, it just seems like it's more so with me. She always makes a point to talk to me when I walk by, and we're always making each other laugh anytime we talk. But I'm afraid of trying to make a move since I work with her and she's way out of my league. If you get an arranged marriage, it's a 50-50. Sheesh. Assuming the person is single or trifling, you ask to see that person again in a different context, and the negotiation for available time and date is quickly mutually complete. No just friends overtone about it. Thursday at 8, not available, not into you. Thursday at 8, not available, but what about Friday at 9? Else, look for physicality, proximity, and eye contact when totally unnecessary. Jealousy or defeat, it's subtle, when interacting with someone else of the interested person's gender. Caveat all this with me being terrible about noticing it. My wife points this out to me when we're in public. Once I see it, it's obvious, but until then, it's a mystery to me. If they act the exact same way with other people, you're out of luck. Or everybody's in luck. Someone tells you years later. They tell you years later after you've moved hours away, and it turns out she never said anything because she thought you had feelings for her other friend who you didn't have feelings for. She was just sexually harassing you in the middle of English class. You need to have just got engaged a week before too. As my dear old dad used to say, women who work for tips are not flirting with you. We used to extend this to, if she's being paid to talk to you, she's not interested. Twitch.tv. By how they look at you or act around you versus other people. Difficult to gauge if you both are alone, say in a concert or a trip. I was once called into HR for allegedly flirting with an employee not part of my own team. Her proof? I was always being friendly, offered her milk to go with her coffee, and worst of all, once at an afterwork, I bought a round of drinks for everyone, her included. The head of HR was a bit puzzled about the whole situation and asked her what she would then suggest we do to resolve the situation, as she requested that I would stop being friendly to her and just leave her be. This poor woman just could not accept that I was being friendly. Alright, can I get a round for everyone? Everyone except Karen. Ha. Flirting's basically a dumb game of chicken with gradual escalation. Or just ask if they have a significant other, usually pretty obvious. I've had a lot of people ask me this just because they're nosy, not a guarantee of attraction. My aunt asked me this last week. Glad I missed that signal. For me, I flat out told him that I liked him, and if he asked me out, I would say yes. He said thanks and never asked me out or responded in any way that he liked me back. Bummer. A few months later, we kissed. He was like, "So you like me?" I should have smacked him upside the head. Apparently he thought I just said that to him to be nice. When I met my last girlfriend, our eyes met across a crowded dance floor. She rolled her eyes at me, so I picked them up and rolled them back. So what do you do if they have attached eyes? Roll mine to her. By reading someone's comment on Reddit about how they missed all the signs, and then you realise that the same thing happened to you, and now you lie there contemplating your life. But you still can't be sure. Yeah, maybe she's Canadian and she's just being polite. Pro tip, you'll never know if you don't ask. Schrodinger's date.